you can never know what you will find in the forest, but I didn't expect I will find Thor's hammer. The perfect place to stop and think about life. Well, if anything, it will be very fun to walk on this very muddy terrain. The stream goes along the entire path. Okay. It's beautiful. So silent. I hope mosquitoes won't get me. So, this time I'm on the whole other side from the last time. This area is not as high as the one where I explored that hill fort, or what I think it is a hill fort, and met those sheep. But it's beautiful. It's one of my favorite places I ever been to. And I don't have any missions, but to see the plants, see the area, get to know it a bit better. Now I have a bit more experience than before, and I think it will do me good to understand everything a bit better. My most fond memory of this place is when I found a Amanita muscaria mushroom. I was pretty young, I mean youngish. I was a teenager maybe. That was one of the first times I felt some kind of magical, being drawn almost magically to the nature and everything. Blackbirds. You know, it would be very pretty and you could almost be meditating here if it wasn't for these details. Trash here, trash there, trash down there. I mean, usually I do bring a bag with me or two and I pick up what I can. But here it's much worse than the places I usually go in, and the situation is much worse. And if you would want to clean this, you would have to come with a truck to pick it up, or a bunch of people. And I even did that while I was living here. But still, there's only so much you can do, and it's very depressing. I just really want to go into the mind of people who do this, because apparently, you know, they do love nature if they do come here. They do like, apparently, hanging out and stuff. Trying to just make a connection between how can person love being in nature and still do these things. I know not everything is black and white and everything is filled with all kinds of colors, but still, I just cannot comprehend what's going on in the mind of somebody who leaves trash here. When I try to figure that out, my brain feels like it hits a barrier. It's like you are trying to conceive how universe is infinite. You feel that hit in some kind of barrier in your understanding. You cannot embrace the idea absolutely, even though you know the facts. It's the same thing with me here. Really trying hard to get this, but I don't. The perfect place to stop and think about life. Also collect some ticks. There's a bunch of flies, I don't know which kind, and I don't know if the camera will catch it well. I think they're just regular flies flying around. Airplanes. Sometimes I get happy when I think it might be a thunderstorm or something approaching, but most of the times it's just planes. So this is a good exercise. There's no connection. I have no books with me, no guides, only the knowledge in my head, which is not much, to be entirely honest with you. And the question is, how would I survive alone here? The answer is I would die probably in a few days if it wasn't for a stream here. Water is more important than food. Another set of questions is, how safe is it and where should I boil it? Many years ago, well, more than a dozen for sure, this was one of the first paths that made me start exploring the plants I see around them. Although at that point in my life I had a bit of sinister motivation because I had some bad period in my life. I was pretty much a teenager back then. Oh, look at it. There's a small stream here. Here we see these yellow flowers. There is a lot of nice things here. A lot of strawberries. I remember each summer I was walking near here that I had a bunch of strawberries to pick on the side of the road. The road is not that frequently used, so it's not the cleanest place to eat, but it's not the worst. Here they are. A bunch of strawberries. Too bad that it's too early for them, because otherwise it would be quite interesting. I found one dried puffball mushroom, and I even had a fantasy of trying to find more else, because they keep escaping my world for years. You can hear the cuckoo bird in the background. There is a lot of them here. And I'm not sure if I can catch it well. I had my battery, of course, giving up on me a moment before. I wonder what these are. They look like regular flies. They are a bit narrow and all black. They're easy to catch, and they are a bit annoying because they get into your face. But never mind, I'll survive. I remember them from the previous days. How I know it I was sometimes. So, didn't see them for years since I moved out this area. It's like meeting an old friend. I thought I heard, well, apart from the ravens, I heard thunder in the distance. Now that both makes me happy and a bit worried. So here's the thing. Here the nature is beautiful. And I will always say, no matter the opinions about my subjective ones about the country I come from, because there are things that certainly could be better. Nature is really something, mountains exceptionally. But then you see trash, it makes you kind of depressed. I don't know what kind of person you are, but it makes me depressed for certain. After that, you see a bunch of stray dogs who are abandoned, who are alone. Maybe they were born alone. And even though there is kindness and people are stopping with their cars to feed them stuff, it still makes you a bit sad. It's not a sight that you can see everywhere in the world. Wherever there is some better implemented law for animal protection and stuff, you don't see stray dogs. But here it's different. And there's a bunch of these things. Bugleweed. Remembered how it's called. It dislikes to grow on the places where people are going, or actually anybody is going, so you won't find them on the paths. If you were looking for a place where there is not much movement of people, you could follow the trail of these guys. Just look for the bugleweed. You can see they stop right near the sharp edge where cars pass by. And they can be found all around, but never on the paths. These flies are really something. I'm not a biologist, so I'm speculating here, but this high number of them is a bit... I'm used to it, I remember it now from earlier. But something smells of some kind of disbalance here, or it's just their mating season or something, I don't know. Not sure. Apparently it is a hawthorn fly. There is one great downside, apart from trash, stray dogs, bad roads and few other things. It's the minefields. So a lot of mountains here are covered in them. Not maybe entire mountains, but some critical slopes remained from the war times, and usually it is well marked, but you know, usually is not very comforting. So I was always cautious to know where they are and to avoid those places. But even the presence of them, if you're not exactly on a minefield, it's just unsettling. It's something that kind of kills the vibe when you're trying to relax. But yeah, I won't be focusing on the negative. I'll try not to. So as you can see, there is a lot of cut down trees here. They were trees just like these one you can see all around. Now what happened, one of my guesses is they got sick somehow. Another mushroom. And they started drying off just like these that are still visible around. And I have a feeling it has something to do with the same, I guess it's beetle, that they are trying to catch here in this trap. It must be something that kills off these trees. It's bad, too bad, but at least there is some kind of human intervention that's not necessarily bad, that I finally can see here. And what is interesting, this is like a small oasis. It's just like some small patch where they did cut down these big trees, and now deciduous one started to grow. There is a lot of silver birch. I found some ash as well. So a patch of deciduous one surrounded by conifers. And more conifers up there. Interestingly beautiful. Well, I learned you can never know what you will find in the forest, but I didn't expect I will find Thor's hammer. Interesting.